Hologram Man. Is this a bad movie? Let's get into it. Hologram Man is from 1995, lasts about an hour and 40 minutes. A criminal mind and an indestructible body. That's the tagline. Okay. And this movie's terrible. Do you know, it starts off looking quite well. It's nice Los Angeles sunshine. It's a good set piece. It looks like any other 90s action movie. That was like 1% of the budget. Yeah. And acting skill. Okay. This movie is so full of nullets, explosions, and bad acting that it makes RoboCop look like Jane Austen. Right, okay. In fact, it's like Die Hard meets Tron, and someone who's just learned to use 1995's version of Microsoft Paint. It's terrible. The effects aren't that bad. They aren't good. It does have a lot of explosions and stuff though, and it's got a antagonist called Slash Gallagher. Slash Gallagher. Sounds like he's kicked out of WWE for headbutting Vince McMahon. Hello. So the plot basically is that Slash Gallagher in the not too distant future is captured, apprehended, taken down by rookie cop Dakota. Yeah, and it's all shot in a parking lot. Right, okay. And when Slash is arrested, he's put into this like hologram prison. Yeah, they take his body and I don't know what they actually do with it, but the next time we see Slash, he is a hologram. A tiny hologram in a little jar.
A city bus, assassination of a state official, treason, conspiracy to overthrow the government, and first-degree murder. You shall serve your sentence in holographic stasis until your biopersonal rectification programming is complete.
Because it's kind of like Demolition Man. It is very similar to Demolition Man. Even the staff that work there. Yeah, there's a sort of warden type character. Yeah, it's very much inspired by Demolition Man.
It's a ripoff.
Starts off in Stardust Steed. Yeah, that's right, because Slash Gallagher opens the movie by stealing a bus full of hostages. And then it's Demolition Man. That's right. Later on, by the way, there's a shit out. Dakota has to go to see the prison for some reason. And on the way, he starts and has a shit out. And it's just like RoboCop. Yes, it is. I noticed that. It's exactly like on the shows in RoboCop.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
So yeah, Slash Gallagher anyway is now a hologram. Yeah, the future of crime prevention is just turning into JTEGs. But CalCorp, the company who run this whole hologram prison, have a man working inside who is not all he seems. No, he's like a tech programmer or something. And his name's Nanny. Yeah, Manny. He's actually friends with Slash Gallagher's gang. Yeah, so they call him Giggler, by the way. That's right, his nickname's a Giggler. He never giggles once. No, he doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't actually, it's not like a sarcastic nickname. It's not like he's always dour-faced and stuff. It just makes no sense. It's weird. Crap. Okay. So, of course, him and Slash's gang, one of them was seen in Darkman. Oh, yeah, that's right. And Swamp Thing. That's right. He's playing a guy called One Eye, because he's got one eye. That's right. Anyway, they help Slash escape, of course. And Slash is like an indestructible hologram. Yeah. Just cast a shadow. Yeah. I don't know if it works like that. It should, but it doesn't. But then they sort of 3D printed my body. Yeah, where's his body? I don't know. I don't know if it was like burned or something when he was turned into a hologram. But the 3D printed my body, and he's basically indestructible. Even if that body gets destroyed, he will live on as a hologram, and they can just make him another body. And he can inhabit other titles, and he can look like anyone else. Like Darkman. Another movie this movie's written off. Yeah. And they don't use that much in this movie. That's something they could have used a lot more of. He could have been like pretending to be someone for nefarious purposes. He never does. Dakota does later on, but yeah, we'll get there. By the way, Slash escapes 5 years after he's put in prison. Yeah, why did they wait so long? I don't know. And also, everyone looks just the same, which is fine 'cause it's only 5 years. Except Dakota, who's now like got long hair and some cool studdle. He thinks it's so hard. Anyway, Dakota's there when Gallagher escapes. He blows up the Doddy eventually after a massive gunfight. And, like you said, Slash Gallagher is still a hologram, so he just gets another Doddy. He's fine. Yeah. And what's this hologram wearing? He looks like a 1980s rotor constructor. It's not the most flattering outfit. It sure isn't. Anyway, on these explosions, Dakota blows himself up. Well, I think he's actually shot. But his girlfriend, who also works for CalCorp, puts him into the chamber just as he's dying and turns him into a hologram. Yeah, so it's hologram versus hologram. And it's rubbish. It could have been so good. It could have been. But actually, before he saw him in a VR training suite, yeah, that's pretty cool sequence. Lawnmower Man, that's another movie that ripped off. Yeah, but they never returned to that. Yeah, it seems like that was about a pointless scene. That was probably 3/4 of the budget wasted on that 10-minute sequence. It probably was in 1995. And this Dakota, he's played by a guy called Joe Lara. His acting range goes from stoic to slightly confused. He's not the best.
I'm sorry, Joe.
What about Slash? He's a little bit better. But he screens everything. He screens holographic justice is a lie. What? He is an angry man, but then he's been turned into a hologram. Yeah, he's angry before that. He was, yeah. Slash is now pretty much indestructible because, like I said, they can make him a body anytime he wants, anybody he wants, that he just keeps getting the same run. Yeah. Meanwhile, the head of CalCorp is kidnapped by One Eye and Giggler. Yeah. And, finally, someone's using the Darkman Tower because this head of CalCorp isn't the head of CalCorp. It's actually Dakota. Because he's a hologram man. That's right. And he disguised himself as this person so he'd be kidnapped so he can confront Gallagher face to face. And before he does, he electrocutes the Giggler to death. And he causes One Eye to melt. Yeah, again RoboCop. Yeah, just not as good. Okay.
You're not Jameson. Good eye.
Dakota, you're still alive.
Hello, Norman.
And then it's a pretty boring fight between hologram and hologram. Dakota versus Slash. It's not as good as it might have been. It was never gonna be good in this movie. Well, you're not wrong. But it's, yeah, it's pretty boring. And then Dakota obviously wins. Slash is put back into the holo prison. Yeah. Why? He's just going to do this again? Surely there's a way to destroy him. You would think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. Rubbish. Yeah, maybe they were thinking there's going to be a sequel. That's ambitious. And obviously by now Dakota's back in his own hologram form. He leaves the building after Slash is safely imprisoned again, and then he meets the real head of CalCorp, who says to him, congratulations, I was going to lose a load of money, I was going to lose this company, you've done amazing, you've locked up that criminal. Yeah, so our hero, Dakota, murders this guy. He reaches, because of the hologram, he reaches into the car's gas tank and does something. Yeah, and blows up the car with this man inside it. What? And that's the end of the movie. Yes, it is. It's not good. It's terrible. And that's also in the movies. The pacing is way off. 1 minute, you're like in a shootout. Next second, there's a 10-minute hologram fight. Yeah. There's a weird prison break scene. There's a cyber courtroom. And there's a guy who dies via data overload. It's really confusing. It's really not good. It's not well done. And like you say, it rips off pretty much any movie the director's seen. So Hologram Man is 100 minutes of action, explosions, one-liners. It should have been good. It should have been. That it was not. It was not. It's unhinged. But it's not even so good it's bad. It's just rubbish. Well, I think it would have had its fans back in the day. If I saw it back in the day, I don't know if I would have liked it, but I think I would have probably watched it a couple of times and learned to enjoy some bits of it. Really? Yeah. But you've already seen it. What do you mean? You'd seen Steed. You'd seen Demolition Man. You'd seen Lawnmower Man. You'd seen RoboCop. You'd seen Dark Man. Yeah, well, this is true. The whole movie just gave me a headache. I died. Is Hologram Man a bad movie? Without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, well thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, watch another video. And don't you go uploading yourself to the internet. Too late. I am the algorithm.